Assalamu alaikum. Y'all may be seated. Do we have any visitors? First time, second time? Everybody's familiar with what's taking place? Everybody is? Well, I thought I'd come down and see what was taking place down here on the Eastern Shore and talk with you all a little. I didn't know all of headquarters was coming. I thought I was going to come down and say a couple words and go on back. But I knew the minister's supposed to be getting married today, aren't you? I don't know how many came for the wedding. How many came because you all heard I was coming? Nobody didn't know, right? Well, I had already informed Brother Captain, I think, Uncle Bobby, that I was coming down today. And I didn't know about the wedding until after I told them. Then they said they're going to get married here, too. So, well, that's very good. However, we're constantly growing. Can the ones in the other room hear me? Can you hear me now? I guess I'll have a... Were you sitting there?
Yes, sir.
So I guess I'll keep it tradition. Now, this is home for me, and what I can understand, even at the church, they're having homecoming. And I'm here, but they don't know it. How you doing? How you doing? Oh, good. I thought I'd say a couple of things today. I've had a couple of things brought to my attention. And since I heard that the bus was coming down and bringing some of the ones from headquarters here, I thought I'd say a couple of things about it. You know, if we look at things according to nature, you won't go wrong because the designer didn't design nature wrong. However, the expression that we have been used to is the expression of Satan. You know, in Satan, and I hope you listen to what I'm saying. You all hear me in the rear? Satan has been pimping Allah ever since he's been here. He's been prostituting Allah ever since he's been here. And you've been helping him. Anything that's natural, he make you pay for it. You know, that's why when the police catch you, he's sitting at the bottom of the hill. Because he knows that nature is that gravity will bring you down. So he sit at the bottom and make you pay for what is natural. Even when it goes for you to go into motion to do something for yourself, not for someone else all the time, however for yourself and not for the individual self, ourself as a people. If you're a child, if you don't remember yourself, maybe you can remember raising your children. There's many things that you have to make your child do. If you leave it up to them, they won't do it. They'll do only what they think is good to them. And then we've seen cases of that also. When the child does grow up to be responsible, then they hate the parents. Because the parents didn't teach them nothing. It would be something different if they stayed with their parents, never left the home, stayed right inside the house all the time, and had no contact with the outside world. Then they may be happy. But if the parent don't prepare them to go outside, to do something outside of that little home that they're in, if they don't prepare them, then when they do go out, the only thing they can do is get angry with their parents because the parents is charged for preparing them. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, how is it different? If the Bible reads and all the spiritual literature indicates that if you come to me, if you don't want to say to me, if you come to Allah, you come to God, if you're going to come, you've got to come as a baby. Babies have got to be made to get off the breast. They got to be made to walk. They got to be made to leave things alone. They got to be made to accept certain things. And this is how you shape and mold the child. And if you do it right, it's not going to go very far off from the way you raised it. And I can bear witness to it because most everybody that comes to be with me, I have the residue or the direct stink from Satan on them. So the way that you've been raised or who raised you was Satan in disguise. So now, if you're going to come and actually be right, I got to make you do this. I got to make you do that. Then you say, well, Father is making us do this and making us do that. If you would do it, I wouldn't have to make you. There is a definite set die for what is happening today and what shall happen tomorrow. None of us sitting here other than myself today in this house that has decided what should be done other than me. All you all have done and was done in the Son was to agree with it. Not that you designed it. So if you're here and you're really with me, it's because you agreed before you got here from the Son to be with me. However, you are not in the designing part of the plan. You know, it's like we got some architects here now. This is not going to come on the tape this way, is it? Vibration. We have some architects that's with us. And before we actually see what we intend to do, he shows us, is this what you say you want? We look at it, shows us the dimensions, everything. And we look at it and say, well, yes, this is what we want. Or no, we'd like to have this changed and make it thus and so. That's before any material is brought in, any nails are driven. All that has to be drawn up. Now, the one that's drawing the plan isn't necessarily the actual architect of it or the author of it. I hope you understand what I'm saying. If you know something that's going better today than this, I'll say again, please, I'm begging, and we don't beg. Bring it to me or carry me to it. Now, I want you to actually express to yourself, what is it that the white folks let you do? They make you do everything. They make you pay your taxes. They make you pay for the poison that you know it's poison. You go to the store and you get it. They make you pay for it. They don't care if you're young, old, just got here or what. They make you pay. If you're going to do anything with them, they make you go to their school. They make you accept their philosophy. They make you. Well, how are you going to break it if you ever expect to be independent and free? If you don't come up with something that is right and exact and that is in accord with nature itself, how are you going to break it? It's impossible. It's impossible. And you cannot blame white folks for doing what they're doing. You cannot blame them. You can't run behind them to make them change, try to make them change. You waste your time. You waste your time. I didn't come to actually scold you. However, I do want you to get a full and a thorough understanding as to what you are thinking and why you're thinking this way. Why are you thinking this way? Now, if you're not, I'm not saying you are. However, it's highly possible that many of you are. So much so we put it in Scripture. That you come and ask God, when are you going to bring me this relief that I've been seeking for? When shall I have it? I'm hiding the anger in my heart. This is written in the Bible. Who are you hiding from? Is it from me? And if you bring it out, am I going to change the plan? Am I going to speed it up? Or are we going to alter it? Why are you angry? Am I moving too slow? Just some questions. If you're made to do something that's right, give thanks to Allah that you were made to do it. I know many a times that I've got caught up in the things that I didn't necessarily want to be in at that time. It wasn't comfortable. However, I went through it anyhow. And when I did, and I seen what came out from the other end of it, I said, I'm glad it happened. However, if I wasn't made to do it, and on my own choice, I would not have done it. You know, I was raised up down here, and Uncle Bobby knew me, and Sister Ann, which I didn't know was a tourist for a while, Brother Avery, and they were all in the nation before I were, except for Uncle Bobby. I think you were too, Ann, before me. They were all in the nation. I came all the way back here to find out what were they talking about, and the brothers were selling in Muhammad Speak right on the corner where I live. I came all the way from Jamaica, Long Island, all the way here to find out what are y'all talking about. And the brother right there on the corner. So here I'm back here again. However, there's many, many things coming to me, especially on every Sunday morning, which everybody else gets dressed up, the Christians and whatnot, and feel like, well, Sunday is a special day. Well, with me, every day is special. However, especially Sunday, because all of the ministers call and report to me around the country. Most of them, in the beginning, reports to things that's wrong. And that's in order. And then they tell me what is going right before they get off the phone. So for me, Sunday isn't such a good day. Because I'm hearing all the things that's taking place. And how many had an experience yesterday? Satan didn't do anything? Well, he sure called me yesterday. Everybody, I won't say everybody, but I got enough calls from around the country as to how he was getting them. He didn't get me. He got me to listen how he was getting the ones that's with me. Because they called me and I said, yes, Father. So-and-so and so-and-so. I said, what? Yes, sir. Then I had to tell them what to do. One call I got was very disturbing. Very disturbing. So much so I won't announce that today. However, if I were not doing what I'm doing now, there would be no future for us. You are already being made to do what you want. Well, not what you want. You're being made to do what this society say you do. We got to have some scientists to come up with things, alternative energies. Just for this tape, we got to pay for this. If we haven't paid for it, paying for it, we have paid for it. For the electric, for everything here, for the depreciation of the home, for the thing. Things don't stay the same the way Satan has it. It always is perishing. And he has us always chasing it. Always. If it ain't nothing but get up in the morning, you got to do your hair again. If it was right, you wouldn't have to do it. So he always got you chasing wrong. So much so you think, well, that's the order of the day. I don't have to worry, but that's natural. That's what's supposed to happen. It ain't. That is not supposed to happen. Well, I said I was going to say a little bit. You all hear me in the back? Well, it looks like we're being successful as far as purchasing the properties that we have gone in the process of doing or achieving. We haven't got over the hurdle yet. At least we can see the top, though. It looks like it is actually going to take place. However, I want to say stop. Don't stop. If I send you something, make sure you bring me some of it. And I don't mean misery, because I didn't send that. Really, because this is for you. If I'm to guide you in and out of your affairs, and if you stop to really think about it, even when I started first coming down here, I think in 1985, I started talking to Brother Chapman Avery. First, he was looking at me kind of cross-eyed. I think Sister Ann was here, and her husband at the time, he was here, Bobby, and we were sitting in his library or living room, and we were going over some things, and I was telling him quite a few things then. But look at it today. I didn't lie to him. This place here is going to be swarming with our people on the eastern shore. I'm on the western shore. I'm truly rising in the west as far as the state is concerned. However, the east, it looks like it's really where things are really going to be happening. That's of the new. We're getting our food from the east. The farm is here. Is that right? Well, we don't want to forget that. And then we have a family here, like I said before, that Brother Capman and his wife and their family, and Brother Minister, his grandchildren and children. It's very important. And we see all these people around here now with these little homes and whatnot, and going to church, and everybody looks out of shape because what they're eating mentally is out of shape. It's out of time. Now, I remember Brother Abe and I were just speaking about this. When I was here and they had a homecoming, But this time of day, things was just rocking. You know, we were just cutting loose, running around. And you couldn't get on the church lot because there were so many cars. Now I rode by just to take a look. Wasn't hardly no cars out there. Because all of the people that's carrying on that foolishness is either dying, dead, or they're dying. And nothing that they have done has attracted the children. This is the only attraction here of what we're doing. Now, it's quite a few elders that's with me. That's very good. However, when they see you all, and you all actually submitting to be yourself with the knowledge that you have, if you're submitting, we're going to bring the young people in. They ain't have no other place to go. Everything else has ran its course. Everything. If you don't think so, let me know what hasn't. Anytime you can have a Christian preacher that feels so comfortable that he can stand up and speak to the whole world, and especially North America, and feel like he will get no retaliation from Allah, God, or whoever he calls it, or even from the Muslim, and to do it with vigor, you know everything has ran its course. He was here when Elijah was here. He didn't dare do that. I'm talking about Fred Price. How many of you all have been struck with the demon of doubt because of what he's been saying? Well, I'm going to explain one thing to you now about this prophecy that's supposed to have been made by the messenger, and it didn't come true, so you will know how to answer it to your own self and to others that may ask you about this. And I don't know who changed it, who was the author of change. I don't know if it was the Nation of Islam. Who was it? Mimps. Brother, what's his name? Munir. Mimps. Oh, okay. The brother out of California. They came through. He originally came from California, then he went to Theodore Hamza, Cleveland, and then right. Secretaries, right. So he's the one that changed it. Okay. Well, when the messenger made the statement, and I hope you listen, how many heard him this morning? Well, if you haven't heard him, if you turn into Fred Price tomorrow or the next week, whatnot, he's going to be saying the same thing. Because he repeats himself several times. His whole lecture, he may say one thing different than what he said the last week. Well, the messenger, Elijah, absolutely is, he was and is the messenger of Allah. And what he stated absolutely was and is the truth. However, time moves on, so there may be a more finer explanation of it than it was when he was speaking to the babies in baby language. When he said that the man will not go to the moon and land on the moon, it would be impossible. That will not happen. That's absolutely right. First place, you can't prove that he did. You don't know if he was out there in Arizona in the desert or some kind of camera trickery. You can't prove that he went to the moon. And what the messenger said, since he was speaking, he wasn't very specific, but this is what he was saying. And it still stands true today. No man can go to the moon and land on it and live unless he's in something. If he gets out like you and I are now and steps on that dead piece of earth, the moon itself will snatch your eyeballs out. That's how craved it is for the water. It wants its water back. So if you are not in something, you can forget it. It can't be done. That's what he was saying. You got that? Yes, sir. If you go to the moon and you in a capsule, you in something, yes. But then you can't really say you touched it. You was in something that was in it. That's like being in a submarine in the ocean. You really ain't in the ocean. You in the submarine's in the ocean. Right? Yes, now if you ain't in the water, if you don't get wet from being in the water, you never was in it. That's the same thing what the messenger was saying about the moon. And he did not say that they would not be successful in putting up a satellite. He just said that's what they're attempting to do. So, in case it brought any doubt to your mind, that's the answer. Now, if you're not going to linger on that, we have a nation to build. And our nation is nation of thinkers, young people. We don't need to perpetuate what's already going on. We don't need no nation to do that. We don't need no nation to keep growing watermelons. Because that was something when we lived on the outside of the earth. When we were on the inside, we didn't eat that. That's something to go across the desert. It wasn't something for us to eat, at leisure. That was only brought about for crossing the desert if you walk it. However, we're now in a mental desert. So you like to do things that you used to do, even if you're not doing it for the meaning of it. So we're not doing things. We're not here today to go get a school when we go to school. That type of schooling is extremely boring. And we're not going to keep doing this. It didn't say that Solomon was a preacher or a minister. He said none of that. He's supposed to prepare you in such a way, wherever you are, you don't never have to go to no place and say you're going to church. Wherever you are, that's where it is. Is that right? Yes, sir. So I just want to say this to you. So when Satan speaks to you, and yesterday was his day, we allowed him to have that day. It was his day. We just watched to see what he's going to do. We watch it. And from what I understand, he was rather busy. Well, I just thought I'd say that. I don't know if Brother Secretary Abbas Rasul has anything to say concerning any fundraising, because this is fun. I don't know of anything that you all are giving that's greater than what I've given and is giving. I really don't. Brothers, if you have more than one wife, you're good. You got to do some sure enough giving. I mean from the mind. If you can't do it that way, you got problems. If you can't cause the water to be equal and balanced, you got problems. And they are already designed to receive. So who's going to be the giver? If they give anything, it's after they received it. Even if you tell them something, they go gossip. They make it bigger than what you said. So if you give them a seed, when they give it back to you, it's bigger than what you gave it to them. But they couldn't give it back if you didn't first give it. So you're not giving more than me. And I ain't afraid to do nothing. I'm not afraid to get in the sewer to do anything. I'm not afraid to give. If I got money, I give it. I don't have no money now other than what you give me as far as having money. However, I got a whole system set up. If you don't give it, the earth has already got it for me to give it to me. Already got it. And matter of fact, I had some gold that was given to me out in Sacramento, California. I brought it back, and the brother that gave it to me was very strange. I kept the gold. Seemed like I could never do nothing with it. I kept forgetting I even had it. So I asked Brother Bob. He came to the house and said, "Oh, what about this gold? Can you do anything with it?" He said, "Well, I'll check on it." He checked on it. We had to send it to a gold refinery place for them to, go take it through the analysis and check it out. So I didn't send it then. So I said, let me see if I can. I kept forgetting it. I said, something about this gold. I got almost a pound. I just keep forgetting it. So I got Sister Lyota. Call her up. Say, I got some gold. Since you got everybody else doing everything, see what you can do with this gold. The day hadn't passed. He already told me what to do with it. I sent it. Matter of fact, I sent it out there to them. They sent it to another place. The people checked the gold. They say it's gold, all right. However, it's something else. It's a metal that must not have come from this planet. They have no knowledge of it. They can't do nothing with it. It didn't pass the iron test, but it passed other things and had another ore or mineral in it that they have on this planet have no knowledge of. So they sent it back. So I got to go. Do you all know what I'm saying? The scientists are also telling me that there's another material in the earth. If we let white folks know about it, they will be building homes out of it. However, this material constantly grows. So if they build it, after a while, whatever they built would be falling down. Because it don't remain the same. It's constantly growing. So there's so many things that's waiting for us. And you got to be made to accept it. And most of it got to be made to eat the bean soup. We got to be made. So if I hear any more complaints about you saying, well, I'm making you do this, I'm going to pat myself on the back. You know why? Because if you say, well, Father is trying to make us do it, then I may have a frown because you ain't doing it. But if you say, well, Father is making us do so and so, yep, well, they're doing it. Yes, right? Yes, and what is it about finance or money that makes you feel like it's so precious, other than it gives you a false sense of power? However, that's power that you're carrying with you. That's not power that's from you. If you carry it, it can be taken. Not only can it be taken, you can lose it. Is that right? Yes, sir. If you don't think that's true, go to Las Vegas, go to Atlantic City, and see, carry $1,000 with you and see if you come back with it. See if you come back with it. A system has been set up. Now, the man that set all this system up, he don't care about money. He don't care nothing about it. He uses that to make you do things. He cares about the power that he has over you to make you do it. That's the only reason why he cares about any money. He can't eat it. The only thing he uses it for is to make you say, yes, I'll do this. I'll develop a space program. And the first thing he asks, well, how much you going to pay me? I want you to go to school and I want you to learn how to do this. And this is what I'll give you. All right. And here's something else we maybe should look at. Any activity that this world has that he calls important, you have to go to a special school, and then after you graduate from the school and participate in the function that you went to school for, you got to have certain friends. If you're in the FBI or CIA, you can't even have your family. You can't even have your family to your house. Most of the time you have to move, go someplace else. If you're a state trooper, where do all these state troopers live? You don't know. You don't see them coming to your church. You don't see them in the bars boogalooing. Anything that has any significance to it, believe me, he has an order to it. Here we're talking about building a righteous kingdom. So why shouldn't we have order? And we are starting. Not that we've already finished or we're halfway. We're starting. So we got to be just like Yaakov. Since Yaakov was on an island, there was nobody there but him and the people that submitted to be with him. He could kill whoever he wanted because he was the lawman. However, we're on a big island. Well, someone's already here before we got here. So we just can't kill you. What we do is say we'll give you back to the man of death. Either you're going to do what you're supposed to do to actually bring about this new kingdom, or we say you go back in class F. That means you go back to death. The man of death is doing this. Do I have any argument from anyone? Well, I'm happy. You all should be the same way. And if I can be happy with nothing, comparing, if I'm going to compare with just what was promised that I would have from the Lord, not already what I already have of my own, I would say I have nothing. We got a farm that's not really ours in our name, and everything has been set up. And you can tell if I'm doing things. It's set up in such a way it don't normally happen that way. We got full use of it. And the person that owns it don't even come to check on it. Is that right? However, if we check ourselves, our farmer compared to real farming, what they say real farming is, we don't even have a garden. If we're going to compare. And I know Brother 94 and myself, when the messenger purchased the farm, we bought this land down in Alabama. I think it was 43 or 4,600 acres in the Alabama farm. Then we bought another new farm just before the messenger passed in Alabama. I think it was 3,200 acres. Then we had the farm up in Michigan. That was something like 13 or 1,400 acres. How many was that, brother? Yes, sir. $25,000 square acres. 25,000 acres. 11 farms in Michigan. Well, I said that to say this. With all the land that the messenger had purchased, or the Nation of Islam had purchased, and we were working it, the messenger still referred to it as a little garden. He said it's not enough to feed millions of people. And it wasn't. We got less than that. I don't think we got no 1,000 acres. However, what we do have that the messenger didn't have at the time was a system set up to distribute it all over the country. Start putting it in our stores. We got it this time, especially to make sure our stores come about in all these cities, and we magnify our system of delivering it from our farms. Well, it takes people to do that. When we were with the messenger, we got a salary. It wasn't so big that we actually call it a real salary based on what we were getting. However, it was a salary. I don't get no salaries. If I don't get no money, you don't get none. And the money that comes to me, put it this way, the money that comes in my possession, I don't take it from me. If I get a suit, I don't go get it. Somebody's telling me, you got to get a suit. And I said, well, I got two. I don't think I need another one. You got to get another one. Well, why I got to get another one? Because you were wearing these two out. You see what I'm saying? Now, if I say, well, this is mine. This is my money. And you all be sending in poor treasure. That's supposed to be for me because I'm poor. Well, it comes under that title, but I never take it. I never take it. If we come in with the vehicles, most all the vehicles I get, we pay cash for it. And we use them. Believe me, we use them. Ain't like we get it and we put 3,000 miles on it a year. It'd be something like 30,000. For real. So I don't get anything for me. Me per se, me for me. If I get something, does this look good? Well, I didn't get it for me. I got it for you to look at. I did. Well, I just thought I'd let you know this. There's something else, too, that is very, very important that you all always keep in mind. If you're going to live, you got to consistently breathe. Is that right? It's got to be, you can't do it once in a while. You got to just keep doing it. Now, as we are taking what belongs to us back, whatever is required for us to be masters of that, you can't do it tomorrow and forget about it the next day. You can't put it off tomorrow and forget about it today. If we never come down to Brother Captain's house no more and he moved and nobody stay here, after a while, you won't be able to see this before the weeds be done took it. So now we're getting an operation here on the East Coast, the mill. It is supposed to grind things into powder, or at least where we can use it to break it down for our digestive system. White folks got it set up where they work 6 days a week. Now we're going to take it over and still service the community. How many times are we going to have to fight with the people that say, well, I'm tired. I don't want to go to work today. Are you sick? No, I can't get sick. Allah won't let me get sick, but I just don't want to go to work. You know, it sounds good to say, well, yep, we're getting a meal. And, you know, will you all give, whatnot? Yes, sir. And everybody's all fired up in the give when we get it. Just like black people do. And when we get it, it's sit there. We're going to look at it, the grass ain't cut. We're going to look at the customers don't come. If anything, we open the paper and look up, well, the black Muslims has purchased so-and-so and so, and they let it go to hell. Are y'all hearing me? Yes, sir. This means if we're going to take this service, now if we let everybody know we're getting the meal and we're not going to service the community at all, we're just servicing ourselves, well, then we can work maybe once a month. Because we ain't doing that much. But if we're going to service the community and let them know, because what we're actually sharing with them, not selling them, is civilization. We're going to change their opinion and their natural thoughts about us. Because they think of us as the way they made us. Niggers. And then we bear witness to them that, yes, we niggers. However, when they come in contact with us and they see that we are really truly civilized and they didn't do it, who are they going to contribute it to? They won't mind if they see one person. They say, that's a good man. That's a very good man. Or that sister there, or I've been knowing her for life. She's really been good. She's a person of her word. But you let it be a whole people. Then they're going to want to know, wait a minute, I didn't teach them that. Where are they getting this from? Then they call Washington and say, look, get in touch with the think tank and see if y'all can think up where these people came from. Then the think tank says, well, haven't you heard? You know, this was prophesied before we made the think tank. That this would come about. We've been thinking how to try to get away from them. Well, did you come up with it yet? Well, not quite yet. I mean, we broke the Earth's gravity, but when we got up there, we found they were out there. I don't know what we're going to do. Looks like we're going to have to submit to them because they are some just people. I don't think they'll do to us what we did to them. You think about it. Well, that's what I wanted you all to think over today. This is for real. Now, if either one of y'all think you're doing more than me, I will more than happy give to you my duty. Now, if I got the duty of bringing you back to life and I get up with a smile every morning, what's your excuse? You don't have no heat in the home? Why don't you? We set nature in such a way, well, we letting you know, look, winter is coming. You know, white folks done mastered it. They cut more wood than they can use, and they put a sign up, wood for sale. Is that right? Yes, sir. Well, now, if you are caught, then you can call on the nation. However, it has to be legit. It does. We're not a people that is heartless, and we know what kind of situation that we're in. However, if you're with me, you're really with me, we start setting things in motion as soon as you say I do in your mind before you ever come to take the letter out or go to any meetings. You go to the meeting, you hear, and you make them in your mind, we start right then. We start protecting you right then. And mostly what you do, you go back to your family, and they try to take the protection off you by telling you, you ought to leave that alone. Don't even consider that. Them people didn't you see Fred Price? I mean, no, he's proven that, no, please, you see? And the easiest book to prove falsehood in is the Bible. The easiest book in the world. And for those of you that don't know, what was before the Bible? Who made that? Who wrote it? The Quran, he said he read it. And he had to read, I, Allah, am the best knower, right? In this book, there is no doubt. It's a perfect guide for those who want to be guided. You don't read that in the Bible. He don't tell you I nothing. And there's something else too, brother Captain. When he said that it was, I think, Elijah. It was three people, Jesus, Elijah, and someone else. Moses. And then the cloud came down. And the voice spoke out of the cloud. What is Allah hiding himself? What the heck he going to speak a voice out of the cloud? How come he don't just come and tell him? So how they going to say who was up there saying it? You see? Now he said it had to be a he or she. Had to be mama or daddy saying this. This is my son of whom I'm well pleased. It had to be daddy or mommy saying it. But they speaking it from the clouds. A voice. So don't any of y'all walk away and think that this man got anything other than I'm using him to expose Farrakhan or Lewis. Explain things to the best of my knowledge to you. You gonna hold the mic? If I was jealous, I wonder that mic got a gold on it. Does anyone want to, dialogue with me today? Does anyone want to dialogue with me, but they're afraid? Okay. Maybe you don't have to, nobody's going to come up. Yes, ma'am? Sister Mario? Want to take the mic back to her? That's good. Walaikum salam.
I'd like to know, when did the demons first start coming on the planet?
The demons?
Yes, sir. It's been said that the babies that are born today, that the demons come from babies.
Well, that started back in the 50s. You don't understand what she's asking? Well, it's written, that the prophets of old said they would be standing in the ranks at that day or at the end of time. They would be standing in the ranks, including Abraham and the rest of them, including Jesus, Noah, and Lot. All of them supposed to be standing, not floating, standing in the ranks. So this means they got to come back. Now, Sister Miriam is asking me, when did the demons come back? Since we don't chase negative, we don't say, well, the demons, they're going to be standing in the right, because they're not. They're going to be throwing rocks at the ones that is standing in the right. So when did they start to come back? They started coming back in the 50s. Not coming, we let them to come back, started letting them come back. Because they got to pay for what they did. Yes, ma'am. 1952, they started. Yes, sir.
With this microphone, when you speak into it, you're going to have to hold it as close to your mouth as possible, because it's low.
All right, any other questions? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, Father. I'd like to know, I heard you mention on one of the tapes that knowledge always comes from up, down. I'd like to know how that actually works, or what that actually means. That knowledge always comes from up, down.
Well, if we go through the process of being born, the knowledge that you are gaining, even if you say, well, I'm a completed entity. And when the entity comes into a body, it don't come from up or from under you into the body. It comes from up or out from you and come into you. After you are born from the mother's womb and knowledge start to be shared with you, whatnot, is always coming from someone that is above you. Your parents is always over you if they're going to sit and even stand. And when they start teaching the child how to talk, how to nurse the breast, when to get off, how to crawl and all that, it's always the knowledge is coming from up, down. And then this way it can always pull you up. But if it's coming from down and you down, it's not going to be encouraging enough for you to ever get up. So that's what that means. We hear people having lofty thinking. It means that their thoughts are very high. It is above what they're actually walking on this earthly plane. So we say it's coming from up, down to us. That's why it reads in Revelation, that this new city, Jerusalem, is coming down from heaven, from God. It didn't say coming out of heaven, coming down from heaven, from God. So it's coming to you, always coming from up, down to you. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. I have another question.
Yes,
Sometimes I look into the sky and I notice the clouds, the way they're formed. They almost look as though they were painted there. However, what I like to know is, do they do that on their own, or what's the type of, or do you actually go into motion and put that together?
No, sir. That would be like saying, well, after the baby get here, we shape the toes, determine how many fingers it's got. The natural order of things determines what it's going to be as far as that is concerned. The clouds and how they're shaped and formed. There is no special thought put to it. However, we can do it for a particular reason, but we don't do that just to make shapes.
Yes, sir. All right, one last question.
Yes, sir.
I know that the hat is for the purpose of tapping the knowledge. I don't understand the spiritual meaning of how that is.
Well, spiritually, it means when you're actually wearing your hat, that you're not to be told anything. You are the teller. In the Bible, it reads that Solomon, or this comforter, or this Jesus Christ, was a wonderful counselor. He come to counsel, not to be counseled. So when you see a person automatically with their hat on, especially if they're inside of a place, or if it's some type of fraternity, this means that they are not to be told anything. If anything, they are to tell you. So this means the same thing spiritually. When you have your hat on, it means that you are administering the counsel or the spirituality. You're not to be told. And it's an insult if somebody tries to do that. Now, you can ask, and then if you ask, well, may I share something with you? And if the person says yes, well, then fine. It was almost like it was last week. The brother got up. He didn't have his hat on. I didn't have mine on. However, just by you all knowing me, he came to the mic and he started saying some things. At first, I was picking up from you all that, wow, here's somebody that's going to try to come and teach us. Don't he know? You almost shut him off. But if you watch me, I didn't say nothing. I kept a smile on my face, not looking at it, because I knew what I wanted him to do. Then, if you go back and listen to the tape, you'll hear, man, he bore witness. Or while he was doing it, it's almost like saying, who does he think he is? He going to come up and reteach? How is he going to teach above what Father has taught? So a lot of you turned him off. You shouldn't have done that. If that answers your question.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Father.
Yes, sir. Is that it? Yes, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Wa alaikum salam.
I have a question about the pygmies. Why do the little people in Africa, why are they little?
Well, this comes from their own beliefs and habits of what they did. It's almost like we did grafting other people from us. They did certain things with their own, when we went into the jungle, there's many different things, fractions that we started practicing, and we let other things go. And it produced quite a different expressions of us, period. Then when they couldn't do it with their mind, they started doing it with other objects. Put great big rings in their lips and nose and ears. And, that all comes from fractionalizing the knowledge and breaking it down so that this white man would be able to rule us. So this is another example of us trying to do things that wasn't supposed to be according to nature, but now they do exist. However, everything is going to go back at least to where it was, and then I'm going to take it further. So after a while, it won't be no pygmies. It won't be any of the people that we know in Africa living the way that they live now. You know, it's to show you the power of Allah. We can set a people that is starving in front of food, and they won't take it and eat. All because of what they believe. They show you how powerful the mind is. You've seen this on television. People over there in India are starving, and chickens run around in front of them and whatnot, in Africa, and they won't take it because the chicken don't belong to them. But they starving. So you'd be surprised. Quite a few things has happened over 50,000 years that may seem strange to us today. However, regardless of what has happened, there is no better people in or on the planet and universe than we in North America, the black people. And we'll find out who they are according to how they accept me. What you going to do when I change and you haven't been with me so you can be changed? You going to run then and want to, oh, Father, now I understand, so I want you to change me too? You may only be able to see a picture of me then. It's possible. You know, once you leave the bathroom, you don't usually go back into it until the need arises again. However, if you come up with something where you don't need it no more, once you come out, that's it. You'll never go back because it's not a pleasant place. You go to the bathroom or the a laboratory, that's a place where you possibly may offend your own self. Is that right? So naturally, if you can come up with a system where you would never have no more need of that, believe me, you would never go back again. So once I get out from this decadent filth of this society, and those that want to be with me, don't think I'm going to come back to get you. I'm not going to come back. Something else? Any other questions? Yes, sir. Brother Captain right here. Right here.
That's another lecture, Father.
Walaikum salam.
I'd like to, what is the difference between Satan or the devil and what the name they call it a while ago? Demons.
Demons?
Yes. What is the difference between the three of them?
Brother Captain wants to know the difference between Satan, the devil, and demons. That's almost like saying the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Spiritual, mental, and physical. Demons or the angels are the ones that works for the devil. And the devil works for Satan. In other words, demons are things that come into people. The devil don't come into him. He is the devil. He's more dangerous and more potent than demons. Demons don't have a host. They got to come and get one of your bodies if you will accept it. However, they don't have no trouble dealing with the devil because the devil readily accepts him because he feels power from that. You're not supposed to feel power. You're supposed to feel another source of power that is alien to you. Then you're supposed to, wait a minute, something's wrong here. Satan is the author of it all. You can see him today like you see Allah, the author of all things, except Satan. You can look at me. You can see me. You can talk to me. You can reason with me. We allowed Satan to be brought here now. You can see him. His name is Silas Muhammad. My name is Solomon. Period. So Silas is Satan. You can see him. You can talk with him, but you can't reason with him. And the devil is his made people. And the demons are the angels of theirs. You got it? Now, if you find yourself plagued with one of them, and you think you can't get him out, call on me. If you ask me, and you really mean it, I'll run him out for you. You know, this is what you do in the devil's world. Even if you got a child in your home, if he's over 18 years old, I'm not leaving. Oh, you're not? Usually the father gets on throw him out. However, you don't have to do that. Dial 911. They'll break on up into the house. Yes, sir. Did you call me? Yes, sir. Well, how may I serve you? You know, we serve the people and protect. Well, I want you to protect me from my son. He's 19 years old and he won't get out. See if you don't leave with the police. You call on him, he come and answer. Call on me, I don't have to come. I'm already there. Do y'all see what I'm saying? Persistence. Any other questions? Yes, sir, but David?
Yes, sir. I don't have a question. I have a statement.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to thank you for what you've done and what you are doing for me, and I love you, Father.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. You know, that's extremely, it's better than good. Because what the brother is saying is, you know, he got two fathers now. If one won't, the other one will. That's if he's right. You know. However, you know, that's wonderful. I would love to have had two fathers. But after I looked into my own power, I didn't really need it. I might have gotten lazy. Yes, sir, Brother Secretary. Before Brother David's going to be here for a little while. I'm going back out to Kansas. I may take him back a little bit. He got some other things to do out there with the dentist. Then he'll probably be coming back. I think he found a whole different expression of what building a nation is since he was out there. Is that right? So you think we're going to be successful? So I just thought I'd let you all know that the first person who went out and stayed and came back was his sister. Now this just bears witness to tell you and to show you that I didn't lie. They may have been sitting around talking about, well, I don't see nothing special about us. I mean, my father, well, now look at them. The sister came back, and everybody was astounded how brilliant she is. Now, one of the brothers going out there, and he called me, and every time I called, he answered the phone. I said, man, they got him on to answer the phone already. Then he and I talked for a little bit, and I said, well, he really is grown. Now she got company, and he got company. We might be thinking about sending the other brother soon. But heaven is heaven. Yes, sir, Brother Secretary.
Yes, sir, Father. You shared with us that every head would bow, every knee would bend, and every tongue would confess. Jibril Muhammad, or Bernard Kushmir, is Minister Lewis's spokesman. He's the man who always pumps him up. He's the man who always writes about how great the minister is. And the latest final call under Farrakhan the Traveler, I would like to read just a quick, short paragraph and to bear witness that you tell us the truth.
Make sure you speak up real good so I can hear you.
Yes, sir. In fact, these are two short paragraphs, Father. Allah always selects and then prepares and guides a human being who is absolutely the perfect vehicle through whom he conveys his mind, will, aims, and purposes to others. He chooses everything about such persons, even to their physical appearance. The next paragraph. Then, in the course of conveying certain aspects of the spirit and wisdom of his mind to others, he wills and permits all of those things necessary to produce the particular spiritual state he wills for his servant to be in when he conveys what he wills on this and on that occasion.
Everybody understand that?
Fire comes and goes. Farrakhan.
That's right.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So we don't have no, other words, we have now started to be really physical to show that we have something about what we're thinking. You know, we're coming up with the compound and also the property over here in Delaware. And as we grow, you can look for people that have things to want to give it to us because it's going to appear to them that it's so easy for us to master it and make things work when they're having such difficulties with the weather. And you know what everybody is crying about today that's in business? They don't have nobody to work. Whoever they hire, they come for the pay, but not to do the work. We have a Caucasian today. The king spoke about him 3 or 4 months ago. He wants to have help. He asked me, could I get him a certified mechanic? He can't find none. And I know the man cares about his work because I've gone to him. And he's hired mechanics. And because they will not do according to his standards, he don't have them. I went back. He working in the great big shop by himself. I said, man, why don't you put something in the paper? Put an ad in the paper. He did. He come up, I think he had 3 mechanics. Next time I went down, next time I went back, he had 2. Next time I come back, he had 1. He fired them other 2. He said he can't get it. And I was telling him, I said, well, when I carry our machineries to the dealers and whatnot, half the time they don't fix it right. He said, well, I can't find no mechanics. What makes you think they can? There's nobody to do the work. So we got a prime opportunity for every aspect. I don't care which way you look, up, down, sideways, crossways. We're the masters of it. It's going to look like we handle things so easy. They're going to be coming and bringing you things. Here, what can you do with this? How would this help you? Well, if I give you this, will this ensure me even just a peep into heaven? Don't think white folks don't know. Dumb white folks don't know, no. But the ones that is actually maintaining this system, they know. And don't fool yourself and think they don't. They know. Everything that you can think of is either fallen or falling. It's gone so far now as the White House. You can look at the Pope of Rome, he's finished. He is finished. Allah represents life. You don't care. I don't have nobody standing up representing me, and they shaking and trembling and can hardly stand up and about to fall on their face. So that's over with. That is over with. Then the White House, the mighty power, the mighty devil, the mighty one. Look at it. His shame was so intense and so deep, had such depths to it that it destroys the presidency. Not just the president, but just that office itself. It's finished. Now, all of this is going, but what we going to do? It's gone, and we stand at that, well, Father is Allah, and I'm with Father, and I don't have nothing, you don't have nothing either, so you all should stone me. Now, if I'm making you do this, don't stone me for making you. You stone me if I don't. If it was my heaven, then I would go ahead and do it because it would be mine. This is yours. Remember, I can't stay here. I got to go. So whatever you were made to do is for you, not me. All right? I have I was counting my children, and they looked so beautiful, I tried to count them twice. You know, I got some handsome children. However, I was thinking, you know, into one house, it looked like a lot of children, a lot of people. Then I went outside and looked at the house. It's not just a lot of people in the house. The house is small. You know? So I either got to get a larger house, because I'm going to keep on having the children. You know? Yes, ma'am. The one there on the compound, I don't know if I'm not in the palace by the time we get there. That seems to be larger than what it appears from the outside. However, we know that still is not going to be the one, because the real city, or my real home, is the city in the earth. 76 miles. That's my home. So I'm inviting some of you all there before I even get there to see my home. So I won't have too many children for that. Even at that, if I filled it up with children, I got a universe of my own. It's like I still don't have enough. And I ain't looking for no more wives, though. I want to get that straight. So I just thought I'd make that known. We're growing. This is not all that we're going to have. North America is very small. 3,000 by 2,000. That's small. But we always do things in a small way to attract the big and then subdue it. And if you don't think that's true, the most deadliest weapon is germ warfare. It's not the tank or dropping bombs from 20 miles up in the sky. That's not that's deadly. Well, that's not the deadliest. The little germ where you can't see. That's where you got a problem. Yes, sir. You gonna say something?
Yes, sir, Father. You've blessed us, many of us, to be provided with material wealth and material goods at this time and for this time. And what is happening with the compound and the mill and the request for the participation of all of the members who have agreed by writing the letters, either from those who followed the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and those who are new, who have agreed by writing this letter to be with you and be a part of the system and submit to that which you guide and direct us to. And they have contributed very well. However, with what has taken place of late, those who contributed toward this actually the beginning was $150,000 for the compound, Father, it did not come up to the amount of funds that was needed for the closing of the compound as had been agreed to. And you will remember that Father shared with us that he had gone ahead of us and touched the bankers and touched the realtors and touched those whom it was necessary to agree with what it was that we were going to do in the completion of our will, in the putting forth of our will. So because there was not enough money to do the closing on Friday as it should have been, Father had already touched those who would make the decisions and would not allow our money to be forfeited to agree to a extension of the closing date. Father has blessed the sister who she looked at what had been contributed so far and saw that it was not enough and has agreed to contribute another $100,000 for which the nation will repay. Another $100,000 for the completion of this purchase of the compound. And that sister is Sister Akil. It's who she's done more again. As we know, Allah blessed sister to be in the position to do this at this time, and her wealth or that which she has control over was a part and is a part of the plan. There is, in addition to that which Sister Akil is doing, though, a need that is brought about because the banks who were going to finance the first $80,000 of the mill have started to attempt to dictate to the United Nations of Islam what it is they must have in order to do the 80,000. Well, we all know that does not and will not be a part of what is accepted. Consequently, what we did on Friday, we put up another $50,000 under the compound. We are now going to give the people at the mill $50,000, and then 80 days later give them another $30,000, and they will carry back the second $80,000 on a mortgage. That which the bank was going to do, we're going to do ourselves. Consequently, and this must be done, because if we allow the bank to dictate to us, and we've already shared with everyone in this area, Uncle Bobby will bear witness, and we did it at a meeting, that they do not dictate to us. We are independent under Allah's guidance. And consequently, we must ensure that everything we do speaks to that. If we begin to submit to them what they dictate, all they're going to say is later, well, ain't nothing but the same old thing again. Therefore, even though Sister Akil is donating this $100,000, and Sister Mildred $10,000, Sister Miriam $3,000, others $1,000, $4,000. I just happen to think of those names right off the top. So all of those who have donated, believe me, it is recorded. And Father, if he hasn't been informed as of yet exactly who has done what, he will be very soon. Everyone. The key to this, though, is we must now come up with the additional $80,000 in addition to the closing cost for the compound and the mill. The closing cost for the compound is going to be near $10,000. The closing cost for the mill is going to be near another $7,000, which means that we have to come up with an additional $100,000. And this, the members have methodologies for obtaining or securing that funds, and it must be done within the next month. We cannot wait for the month, because that's when the closing will be. Do not stop. Do not begin to think that everything is all right because the date for the compound closing is passed, and the mill, we have a brother actually working in there now. It is not finished yet. We must put a period to it. The devil wants to keep us from putting a period to it. However, he will not be successful. And those here in Eastern Shore, those at number 4, and those across the nation must submit the funds, and submit them quickly. Does everyone see that to be right? Will everyone do everything that is in their power, as we promised, Father, we would do, to make sure that this takes place? You bear witness in front of Almighty God Allah himself. I'm going to ask it the third time. Will you do everything that is in your power? Will we do everything that is in our power to ensure that that which Father has plans for us to do will be taken care of, and the funds that are necessary to close both the compound and the mill will come forward? Will you do that? Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Just to give a little update on some of the things that was happening at the bank. It appears as though the bank of Delaware contacted the bank that we deal with, the black bank there in Washington, our headquarters. And they looked over our records and whatnot. They made a statement. that the our banking looks a bit choppy or spotty. So the sister spoke up that was speaking with him at the bank. She spoke up and said, it's going to be that way. Because everything they do, they are doing it themselves. They're not getting no bank or no other people to help them. And the man said, that's recommendable then. You see, what he thought that looked bad. So what they are looking at, that we got a business going on. But that's what everybody believes, that they think they know what we're doing. They think we got a business going on, and the business is producing X amount of money every week. So you put in every week almost a determined amount, so they can tell you exactly what you're doing. One week we may put in 2,000. Next week we may put in 5. Next week we may put in 900. So he's looking at it. That's a little scattered there. I mean, what? When they find that everything that's happening and taking place, we are doing ourselves. Then he had to change from being doubtful into praising us. You see? And one of the things stood out great, the sister at the bank and the sister that is the brother that owns the bank stood up for us also. But they still haven't given us nothing. However, we got them set up. If they can speak up, shortly they're going to stand up. All we got to do is be persistent. Be persistent. And I want you to know something else, too. Everything that you do towards being right is a personal relationship between you and right. And any of you all that are doing anything in the purpose of right as a people or for the time and with me, and if something were to happen to you, what do you think? I know Sister Akia has a title of mother, so to say. She has enough years on her that she's one of the parents. What possibly could excite her if she used $100,000 for herself? If she gave it to herself in the form of the nation, and something happened to her, just saying if, what do you think I would do? I'm going to just let it happen? This is like saying, if you got it, and if you lost it, even if we lost it, well, look, I'll sleep on the floor, you sleep in my bed. Ain't nothing going to happen to you. Ain't no such thing. Well, if I lose this, I'm going to be out of doors, and who's going to help me? Please. You ain't out now. And if you're investing in the future, which is right, and according to all Scripture, this is the time, what makes you think you're going to be put out? What makes you think you're losing something? We got a few more months where money will have power. After that, it's going to have no power at all. Then what you going to do? When it could have done something for you, then you're going to be speaking, well, if I coulda, shoulda, woulda. Just like the people that did not follow Elijah. Price, one of them. When what they call the real deal comes down, it's already prophesied in his Bible that they're going to be biting their fingers in intense grief. Babies will be coming out gray-headed overnight from the fear and the wrath of God that they see coming. Babies turning gray-headed. Then what you going to do? What God are you going to call on then? And what person did Jesus ever save? He didn't save himself. So if he didn't save himself, it don't give him the right to save you. You think about it. I'm not going to a barber and he cuts hair. When I look at his hair, it's down to the floor. And he's standing with some clippers. No. Something that either he know and I don't, or I know and he don't. I want both of us to know the same thing. At least, we have some kind of kin to the knowledge. Is that right? If this man cannot save himself, then he going to save me 2,000 years later? That kind of power don't make sense. If he got the power to save me 2,000 years later, he should have saved himself 2,000 years sooner. Is that right? Well, this is the time now. So whatever you give, don't think you're giving me nothing. What you are giving me is pleasure knowing that you have accepted being right, along with the hell that Satan keeps telling you about your giving. You know, that gets to me. And I don't want you looking at me and say, well, Father's begging. A father wants this. A father is never satisfied. I want to let you know now, I will never be satisfied until Satan is actually destroyed, or negative is gone. Then I'll be satisfied. Well, I won't hold this up. I don't know what kind of time you all got as far as the wedding and the merger. So I won't prolong this. If anyone else has another question or two, I'll take that, and then we bring this to an end. However, those of you that don't get a tape today, I'm quite sure we're taking it back to headquarters, and we'll have it duped, and you can pick it up. Whatever you do, don't exclude yourself from what's being shared with you. Don't say, well, that's good for them, that's good for her, that's good for him, but, you know, Father don't know my case. You know, mine's a little special. You know, my father took advantage of me when I was little. I just can't get over that. Your father took advantage of you when you was little. What did the white man take advantage of you? When did he start taking advantage of you, and when did he stop? He went over there and brought you over and made the fathers go with the daughters. Then took and sold the father and daughters to other plantations and made them go with the white man, with his own self. I didn't know about that. So you don't have no case that I don't know about. We got to conduct ourselves in such a way where we'll break that type of mold and it will never reoccur again. So whatever discomfort you're in now, believe me, I know about it. That's why I'm here. And I'm saving only the ones that want to be saved. I ain't saving nobody don't want to be. And you ain't going to trick me. I'm going to keep telling you. You know, you may be smiling in my face and we give you good hugs and whatnot. It ain't but one way in. One way. If that's it. Oh, yes, ma'am. You can sit down. Yeah. Well, let me sit down.
Since you had just mentioned about the baby's head with the turning gray,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
had a dream this week about we were at this house, we were fixing it up, and one of the babies came in, and I looked at the baby. I said, "Oh, baby, your head has turned gray." I said, "Oh, that doesn't look too good. That doesn't look too good." Yes, sir. So I had a dream this week about that.
Yes, ma'am. And letting us know the time. And believe me, it's closer than what you think. It's closer than what you think. And the young people here in this community, you know, y'all should be flying over here to Brother Captain Avery's house. You should be flying. Nobody's going to make you do anything. However, if you stay here, you're going to actually learn what to do. You're going to learn how to stay young. You know, forget being old. You know, that will happen anyhow if I'm not here, or if you just keep doing wrong. That's going to happen anyhow. However, if you come here, you attach yourself to life. And those of you that are young, you know, don't be afraid to talk to these people out here. I pull up out here. You got an audience standing over here looking at, you know, young people standing across the road over here looking over here. They're trying to figure out, well, man, what's happening over there? Believe me, they want to be here. And don't back up. Don't take no stupidness from them. You know, no, if they want to know. If they come dumb, the more dumber they come, unfortunately, the more they want to know. Because the real dumb one's not going to come. They throw rocks at you, but they're not going to come. But if they come in your face and try to make you take that dumb, stupid stuff they talking, it's because they really want to know. All right? Well, I guess we can call this a day.
Sir, you can stay as long as you like.
Well, I may stay a couple of minutes, but I do thank you all for coming down. And he was saying, Father, Quindera is not the same anymore. That out in Kansas, that avenue or boulevard is not the same anymore. I said, what do you mean? He says, you literally can feel your spirit. He said, the people there are starting to talk about it. So I forgot about that little tidbit. However, those are signs that show that things are actually growing. And he said, you literally can feel it. And the people are beginning, not the ones that are with us, other people that's not with us, they are making comments about it. So you see? It is working. Yes, okay, brother.
So all praise is due to Allah. You know, Father shared something a while ago about my son. If you don't mind if I share this. You know, it wasn't so long ago that I didn't know whether I was going to have to kill him or he did. However, such a change came over them so quickly. It was like overnight. I was going, they did what? They said what? And they were coming to meetings, and of course they knew Islam all their lives because I was brought up under the honor of Elijah Muhammad. However, when Father came, you know, there's something different when you share with someone that, well, he grew up here. He's from this community. And they look at you funny. Everybody understand? However, as the knowledge was being expressed, and it began to get higher and higher and higher, they began to realize, too, that this is not the same young man that grew up in San Domingo. There was something different. So they began to see it was the knowledge and not the person. You know, what do we say about being personal? And many, many people in our community are that way now. However, they're beginning to take note. They're beginning to see something is happening over there. Have you seen the difference in his boys? They were kind of rough one time. So was I. However, the people noticed the change. And they begin to see not just something being said. They begin to see it put into action. And that made the difference. And all I would like to say is, I thank you, Father, and we do love you. Yes, sir. At this time, if Brother Minister Robert has something that he would like to share, and of course we'd like to hear Father's voice one more time before he leaves. Brother Minister.
I would like to take this time to thank our Father for coming and looking for me. I too was out in the streets and had to be taught. I was in that shallow grave. And being brought up or being raised with Allah at that time was Roy. Not knowing that it was Allah, it makes me happy to know that he came to look for me in 1986. I wasn't living in the community at that time. However, I was at a brother's home and he stopped by. And he always we welcome one another, and we was happy to see each other. So I thank him at this time for coming and get me out of the gutter. Thank you, Father.
There's a lot of things going on. Well, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and I'm happy to do it. And I'm making everyone just like me. And the young people that, if you got any doubt, just try me. And the ones that are my age or older, and you got any doubt, you also try me. And quit thinking that you know everything. Knowledge hasn't started yet. That's the difference. You got a lot of people that know things, but then what they know don't necessarily work for them. You don't really become a man or a person that masters until you gain wisdom. And wisdom, you don't get it overnight. You got to practice what you know. And the experience of what you know brings about wisdom. And wisdom really cultivates you and refines you and makes you a real man. So that's what we are becoming. And it's done in such a way where the whole world is going to be marveling over us. And believe me, like when I spoke there at WOL and I seen Kathy Hughes, she came out, she said, your name is ringing in all the circles. Yes, Kathy, you all know her? That runs, owns all the radio stations. And they fired C. Miles, because he was telling too much truth. He was a little raw with it. However, what I'm saying is, I'm getting the praise is true. But you're with me. So if it's a praise for me, it really stems down to you also. Without you, I wouldn't have no reason to be here. The original God himself, he's powerful enough to do his own thing if he wasn't going to change. So you just think about it. If it wasn't for you, wouldn't be no need for me to be here. And there's something else, too. I don't know how many of you all actually see my wives when they're together or just look at them, especially on Sundays or meetings or whatnot, and notice how they're dressed. And I want you to know, maybe some of you all should just go and ask them where they get the clothes, how much they pay for them, even mother. Because I look at them, I go check the bank book right away, and I see it hasn't dropped. So I wonder, what boyfriend is giving you these clothes? However, I must commend that, what they do and how they dress themselves is, I got to really give credit to them. They come and tell me it's $2 and $3. I think the highest is $10, and they cry about paying $10. But the way they look, it's, I'm pleased with that. So I don't want you all thinking the collection is brought up, and half of it is spent on them. It is not. Okay. And I'm not saying that you all don't look good. You do. However, being with me, there's a certain look that I require them to have. And they still don't have it yet, but they're on the road to it. Slava like